Good afternoon, and welcome to Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase, our weekly call-in town hall and radio show. That's right, this is a call-in town hall with your state representative, so feel free to call in. The number here is 804-454-1366. Again, that's 804-454-1366. You can ask your question right here and right now. I want to thank WNTW for the opportunity to provide this free public service to you each week. It's a unique opportunity for you, and I hope you'll take advantage of it. Again, I'm State Senator Amanda Chase. I'm your weekly radio show host, and I serve you at the state level, not to be confused with the federal level, which meets in D.C. In fact, my office is at the state capitol in downtown Richmond. I'm still in my first term in office, and I'm getting ready to complete my second year of my 4-year term. I'm thankful that I'm not running for office this year. I represent the 11th Senatorial District, which includes all of Amelia, all of Colonial Heights, and most of Chesterfield, which is actually where I live. I'm a Christian, conservative, Republican, and in that order. Vice President Mike Pence used that line and borrowed that from him, so thank you very much, Mike Pence. I ran on term-limiting career politicians and returning the government back to the people. What a novel concept. My goal is to be a representative who is transparent, accessible, and approachable, which is why I do Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase. I'm not paid to do this show. I do it because I think it's important to stay connected to the people that I serve. President Trump gets to tweet, and I get cut to the chase with Senator Chase, right? So since being elected in 2015, I push for greater transparency in government, legislation that returns power back to the people. I've helped restore reciprocity of gun rights and holding Dominion accountable for coal ash cleanup to ensure we're good stewards of the James River. I serve on 4 committees in the Senate. I sit on Senate Health and Education, Senate Transportation, Local Governments, and Privileges and Elections. So I'll be watching very carefully what's going on in this upcoming Tuesday election. And in fact, next Thursday, we have Clarabelle Wheeler, who's on the State Board of Elections, will come and give us a breakdown of what happens after Tuesday's election, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. I also co-founded something called the Transparency Caucus, which we work together in a bipartisan, in other words, both sides of the aisle, bicameral, the House and the Senate way, to ensure the committee meetings are streamed and recorded to give constituents greater access to the actual work of the legislature. So the first time in Virginia's legislative history, this session legislative services will be streaming our committee meetings, and they'll be providing that service for us. So I'm excited about that. So you can get things done even without a bill sometimes. Sometimes we can do that with a letter. Many of the topics that we address on the show are issues that constituents have brought to my attention, or issues that we have addressed in the General Assembly, or sometimes, and today, I will come alongside someone who I think you will find is interesting, and I'll bring them on the show. Today we're going to have former Lieutenant Governor John Hager, who's going to be with us. He's got his new book that just came out this past week, Best Seat in the House. We're going to talk about that. And before we get started too much, I do have another special guest, Kim Warburton. She is with the Pregnancy Resource Center. And Kim, are you there?
I am here.
Well, it is so nice to have you here.
It is nice to be here with you, Senator Chase. Appreciate you and all that you're doing.
Absolutely. So tell our listeners about the Pregnancy Resource Center. What do you all do?
Well, the Pregnancy Resource Center of Metro Richmond has been providing compassionate care to women and men unprepared for pregnancy for over 34 years. And we offer resources and practical assistance for life-affirming choices.
So let's just say, and I've had this happen to some of my friends, their daughters come home and they say, "Mom, guess what? I'm pregnant." So they should immediately call the Pregnancy Resource Center, right?
That's exactly what they should do.
Now, is there a number, Kim, that they can call you?
There is a number that they can call, and the number is 804-673-2020.
And can you say that number one more time? Because I've learned our listeners like to hear it twice.
Okay, 804-673-2020.
Okay, very good. And I assume you guys are also on the web as well if they wanted to.
We are on the web. It's prcrichmond.org. In fact, they can make an appointment on the web. They can go to our website and learn more about the services. All of our services are free and confidential. They can learn more about our medical services, professional pregnancy test, ultrasound, after a nurse's assessment, and then we also offer a wide array of parenting services, parenting classes, mom support group, material assistance, so they can learn more about the many services. We have a very well-rounded program.
Now, as far as physical resources like clothing, I know that I've visited your center before, and you all had quite a bit of resources there for the ladies.
We do. And those who participate in our program, any woman, any young mom and dad, let me put it that way, because we do serve dads too, any young mom and dad who is expecting and up to the first year of the baby's life, can, if they need material help in classes and support in that respect, they can call us at 673-2020 and ask for more information about our parenting programs, and they can come in. They might not have needed the vital medical services that we provide. You know, maybe they're already connected with medical services, but they want extra support help. So they can come in and do an intake and get that type of help as well.
Very good. Now, where are you all located?
We are located in very central on Willow Lawn Drive, 1510 Willow Lawn Drive, right across from the Willow Lawn Shopping Center, in Henrico County, right on the Richmond City line.
Now, I understand you all have a gala that's coming up.
We do have a gala coming up, and we're very, very excited about that, and that's November 16th at the Marriott Hotel. And it's a wonderful night. We'll be featuring J.J. Jasper with AFR Radio. He will be our guest speaker for the night. We'll provide some updates on the services that we provide, and we'll be encouraging people to come alongside, because even though come alongside of us and learn more about what we do and partner with us, because even though our services are free and confidential to those we serve, they do come at a cost. And we feel like that this is one thing that the community can do to reach out to young moms and dads who are unprepared for pregnancy and need support, help, and encouragement and hope.
Very good. Now, you said November 16th. Is that a Saturday?
That is a Thursday night,
Okay,
Thursday, November 16th.
And what time is that event?
It's at 6. Now, you do have to have a reservation, and seats are filling up. The deadline is make a reservation is November 9th. So if you will go to friendsofprcrichmond.org, you can go there. That is our Friends website. Or you can call us at 804-673-4150.
Okay, very good. Now, when you said the Marriott, is that the Richmond Marriott?
That's the Richmond Marriott downtown, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Very good. Okay, so that is an opportunity for you all. Kim, thank you so much for coming on Cut to the Chase today, and we appreciate the services that you all provide for our young teenagers, and appreciate you coming in.
Okay, thanks for having me. I hope to see you at the gala.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Thanks so much,
Thanks.
Kim. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Fantastic. Okay, so that's an opportunity for you. You know, I'm a mom of 4 teenage kids, and, life happens, and so sometimes it's good to have, it's good to know these resources. Maybe you know someone that has a need. Again, I'm going to give you the call-in number. It's 804-454-1366. And I'm going to go ahead and start the introduction of my first speaker today that's calling in. Of course, you're welcome to call in, but I always like to have a speaker on so that you guys can tune in. And that is our former Lieutenant Governor, John Henry Hager. And you may remember him as the 37th Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. He served from 1998 to 2002. He was the Assistant Secretary within the United States Department of Education from 2004 to 2007. He is also, from 2007 to 2008, was the chairman of the Republican Party of Virginia. And he's also served as the director of Virginia's Homeland Security under Governors Jim Gilmore and Mark Warner. And as I mentioned earlier, he has an autobiography called Best Seat in the House, which was just released this past week, and I was able to go to his book signing at the Library of Virginia, and I have a copy here in the studio. So we'll be talking about that. So stay tuned. We'll be back in 4 minutes with Lieutenant Governor John Hager.
Hey, I'm Kim Warburton, the Executive Director of the Pregnancy Resource Center of Metro Richmond. For over 34 years, the Pregnancy Resource Center of Metro Richmond has been a safe haven and a loving refuge to thousands of young moms and dads of the greater RVA community who need compassionate care and hope in the midst of an unplanned pregnancy. Join us for our 2017 annual gala as we share more about the ways that God is saving lives through this ministry. Stay tuned for this special invitation.
Hi, I'm JJ Jasper, inviting you to join me Thursday night, November the 16th at the Richmond Marriott for the Pregnancy Resource Center of Metro Richmond 2017 Annual Gala. As a morning on-air personality and best-selling author, I know you'll be encouraged and inspired. We'll laugh together. Plus, it's for a great cause, celebrating the important work of PRC in the Richmond area. Find out more at friendsofprcrichmond.org or call 804-673-4150.
Take a moment and rate your lifestyle on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 is a life that's nothing like the life you were promised after getting good grades, a college degree, and a good job in corporate America. 10 is the life of your dreams. If you answered anything less than a 10, tune into the Del Walmsley Radio Show. Del, self-made millionaire and founder of Lifestyles Unlimited, will show you how to live the life of your dreams and pay for it with passive income.
Tune in to the Del Walmsley Show weekdays from noon to 1 right here on WNTW 820 The Answer.
Attention! Sorry I'm talking a little loud because I want to reach people with a hearing problem. Do you want to hear better for just $299? Yes, not thousands, but for $299, you can hear all the sounds you've been missing for years. Hearing Help Express has been helping people hear better, selling top-quality hearing aids for over 30 years. Now's your best chance to hear better with hearing aids for only $299, plus a free 45-day home trial offer, and you don't even need to leave your home or get a hearing test. Call now to start your risk-free 45-day home trial offer. Call 888-451-2042. 888-451-2042 for free hearing help consultation. Learn how Hearing Help Express can improve the quality of your life. Visit us online now at hearinghelp.com or call 888-451-2042. 888-451-2042.
Money, 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 money. You gotta have it. When you need it, what do? If you don't have a rich uncle, call Lending Tree. With us, hundreds of banks compete for your business, so you'll get loans with competitive interest rates, and in some cases, with no closing costs. So here's the deal. If you need money, call us. Do you want to refinance your current loan? Are you 62 or older and interested in a reverse mortgage? Then call Lending Tree now. 800-470-1378. 800-470-1378. We've closed over $250 billion in loans. We know what we're doing and can help you. Call right now for a free quote. 800-470-1378. 800-470-1378. 800-470-1378. That's 800-470-1378. NMLS number 1136.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Should I quit now? But what is a reporter doing writing, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God? He is the editor at large. He's not a commentator like me. He's not an opinion giver like me. He's supposed to be a reporter. What are you doing putting oh my God, oh my God, oh my God? That's opinion. That's editorializing. It's not reporting.
Tune in to Larry Elder weekdays 6 to 9 p.m. here on Richmond's Choice for Conservative Talk Radio, WNTW 820 AM and 97.7 FM. The Answer.
Lately, I've been losing sleep.
Welcome back to Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase, our weekly call-in town hall and radio show. And again, the number is 804-454-1366. And I understand we have some folks that are calling in today. I'd like to begin with our first caller, who is our former Lieutenant Governor, John Hager. And I tell you, it has been such a pleasure to get to know him since I've been in the Senate, and so delighted. I actually was at his book signing for his recent book called Best Seat in the House. And I asked at that event, I said, would you come on Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase? Our listeners would love to hear from their former Lieutenant Governor. Are you there, Lieutenant Governor Hager?
I'm right here, Amanda, and one of my favorite senators. I'm more than pleased to be on your wonderful radio show.
Oh, well, you're too kind. I tell you, this is a great book. I started reading it, and in preparation for the show, I've been, you always want to read things, but it's great to have a deadline, and I wanted to get through your entire book. I've halfway finished. I'm halfway through. And it's so, there were points where I wanted to cry. It was just, you all have got to read his book. It's amazing. And what I would say about you, I've learned so much about you, is that you are such an overcomer. I knew that I respected you before, but to read about your life as an ambitious young man whose desire, was to work in the private sector for the American Tobacco Company, which eventually you were named the executive vice president of the American Tobacco Company. You worked your way up, you worked your way hard, but even before then, just amazing that you not only finished with a degree, and it was engineering, if I remember correctly, from Purdue University, and then went back to school. Everybody dreams about going to Harvard. You went there, did that, got the T-shirt, got in.
At the business school, right? The business school was a little more conservative than the university. I have to always say that.
Well, you earned your MBA at Harvard in 1960, which is incredible. I was just blown away. It's just amazing. And then you served in the United States Army, rising to the rank of captain, and that was in pre-Vietnam days,
yes,
which is absolutely fascinating. But one thing that struck me is that a couple things. Number one, you're an overcomer. Number two, you always show up, because at every event that I go to, you beat me there. You're always there. And, you have a no excuse mentality. It doesn't matter if it's raining, if it's snowing, no matter what the weather, you are not an observer, you're a participant, and you are going to be involved. And I just absolutely love that. I knew I respected you before I read this book, but I just have such a deeper appreciation for what you've gone through. And I want to talk a little bit about that day, because I have a feeling we have a listener out there that would be so encouraged by your story. Maybe they're going through, a situation, and,
sure,
they would be so encouraged to hear your story. So let's just talk from the beginning. And I love how the chapters are broken down by, the early years, and, you just talk about your love of respect for family, and just how close you were to your parents. And your dad, you had a lot of respect for him. Tell us about your dad.
Well, my dad came from Louisville, Kentucky. He was a chemical engineer, and he also worked for the American Tobacco Company, rising to the top ranks in New York. But during the Second World War, he was in Durham, North Carolina, where I was born. And there was a factory down there, 1.1 million square feet, that ran 20 hours a day, 7 days a week during the war, producing Lucky Strikes for the troops. And so I never will forget that they, everybody worked full blast. I was just a little baby kid at that time, but I remembered how dedicated everybody was to the war effort.
And one thing that struck me was the work ethic of your dad, and I know that's where you get it from. That is very apparent, and it's interesting to me how you really did walk in his footprints. I mean, everything from your education, because your parents both graduated from Purdue University, which I think was amazing.
Right.
Especially during those years, actually, when a lot of families, I know my grandparents were not able to go to college. My dad was the first generation to graduate from college. I was very impressed by that aspect. So one thing that I noticed, you've always been what I will call supernaturally driven and ambitious, even in the early years. Where did that intrinsic motivation come from?
Who knows? I'm not 100% sure. I've always liked to live life as a participatory sport.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like the fact that we're here on this earth and we're given the opportunity to accomplish things and to do things for others and make good progress, it's just always motivated me, the fact that you can make a difference and being involved. I think so much of how people get ahead is showing up and making a difference. When I think about the election next Tuesday, it's about who shows up.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's a really good pitch for what I'm going to be talking about later is make sure you all show up, as Governor Hager said, on this coming Tuesday. And if you can't show up on Election Day, the polls are going to be open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Then you need to vote in person at your local registrar's office between now and Saturday. They close at 5 o'clock. You can actually go and vote in person. So there's a little pitch right there for the elections on Tuesday.
Vote absentee, that's right. And I've said all fall that I don't want my book to take away from the importance of this election that's coming up. We need to focus in the next week on doing all we can to make sure you and your associates, of course, the senators aren't up this year, but your associates in the House and our statewide ticket is elected.
Yes, they are. And we have been reminding folks week after week after week. And so I'm sure that all the listeners who regularly tune into my show, they have probably already voted. If they're voting absentee, I know you all. I feel very confident that you guys have already circled Tuesday, November the 7th, this coming Tuesday, on your calendars, and that you're going to be there. And we've got a great group of listeners out here, and they are so conscientious, and that's why they tune in each week, because they like policy. They like to hear what's really going on. But
that's right. Well, that's a good segue, because if you're interested in policy, if you're interested in organizations, if you're interested in whatever it is you're interested in, the way you make a difference is by being involved, by participating. It's one thing to talk about it, but that doesn't accomplish anything. It's people that go out and do that make the difference.
You're exactly right. And I have a student here with me, Chris Garcia, who is a Manchester High School student who's actually come into the studio today. And he's listening in as well. And I asked him just to come in. I meet all kinds of wonderful young people out there. And they're like, you mean I can come to the studio with you? And I was like, absolutely. I want to include all our young people in this too. And so I'm hoping he's going to help me out. We've got we're going to go to a break, but I want y'all to stay tuned, and we'll be back with the Honorable John Hager, former Lieutenant Governor of Virginia. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Thanks for tuning in to Cut to the Chase with State Senator Amanda Chase. And I also have former Lieutenant Governor John Hager also on the phone today. And I'm Chris Garcia, who is a teen Republican. He's a member of the Teen Republicans Club, is also here with me today. So let's start off. Lieutenant Governor, I just want to double check and make sure you're still there since you're calling in by phone.
And tell Chris we're so pleased that he's participating in the Teen Republican Club.
Absolutely. Chris, tell us a little bit about what your role is on Election Day.
Sure thing. So I'm going to be handing out the sample representative ballots, and I'm going to be doing that at Alberta Smith Elementary School and Bailey Bridge Elementary. So I'm just going to be there, and I'm going to be there with a bunch of other people too. This is going to be done by our Manchester High School Teen Republicans Club, and we do look forward to helping out the Republican Party and definitely getting involved in politics.
Very good. And today's his first day on the show with me, so I'm hoping he has many more times where he comes and eventually helps me with research and all that kind of stuff. So very good. So you know a little thing or two about what it takes to be lieutenant governor. And I know there are many lieutenant governors who have called you and asked for your advice for help. Why don't you tell our listeners what the role of a lieutenant governor is? Because they may not know.
Well, I like to use an expansive definition. Of course, by statute, the role is to preside over the Senate of Virginia and to be the leader of that body. And, of course, in the instance of tie-breaking votes, the lieutenant governor actually votes to break the ties. So they have an important legislative role in presiding over the Senate of Virginia. Many other things that a lieutenant governor can and should do is to participate on boards and commissions and special task forces that are dealing with the prime issues of the Commonwealth. In other words, they should be deeply involved if they have a relationship with the governor, which usually they do have a good relationship with the governor. They should be deeply involved in a lot of appointive jobs that are dealing with the critical issues we face today. In addition to that, I like to travel the state, to be visible and to be transparent so that people who had problems, who had challenges, felt like there was somebody who cared and somebody who was interested in listening and someone who perhaps could do something about it and put people together to get things done. So I was a full-time lieutenant governor. I think anybody who's elected should be a full-time servant of the people of Virginia. And I think the opportunity is there to make it into a fantastic job.
Well, you certainly did a great job while you were lieutenant governor. And I just thought we would bring up some of the issues. Now, that on the ballot, you all will have an opportunity to vote for either Jill Vogel, who is the Republican candidate for lieutenant governor, who I'm supporting, and then Justin Fairfax, who is the Democratic nominee. So one of the issues is health care. Jill Vogel supports making health care more affordable by expanding competition and choice. And she led the fight against Obama's individual mandates. And, a lot of the businesses are telling me that they were being crushed by these individual mandates. That is not in the Constitution of Virginia, to force people to buy insurance, to buy anything for that matter. And then Justin Fairfax supports Bernie Sanders' expensive plan for a socialized single-payer system where everyone is forced into government insurance. Do you want to offer your thoughts on that?
I think you said a mouthful already. There's a stark contrast between two positions. And Jill is a very intelligent lady. She knows the subject. She's been in the Senate for about 10 years, and so she's not a rookie on the job. I just feel like her position on this, particularly the health care, being a great example, is so much better for the people and so much in tune with our conservative values. And so I'm 100% behind Jill.
Well, I am too. And I will tell you, as one of her colleagues, we work very closely in the Senate, and we've worked together on a number of bills together. She's very energetic. But it takes us, people need to understand the role of lieutenant governor is to preside over the Senate. You have to know the rules. You have to know how it functions. You have to know order and procedure. And I don't know how someone who's never been in the Senate suddenly sits in and presides over other senators who've been there, many of them for decades.
It was an interesting process.
I think that would be a tall task to try to overcome.
Well,
Now,
I studied hard and had certainly the help of the clerk, Susan Shar, and her staff in having some practice sessions. But basically, it's an on-the-job training program and with a steep learning curve. But it was a very exhilarating time for me, and I think we did a good job. At least both sides of the aisle said so when I left.
well, stay tuned. We'll be back with Lieutenant Governor John Hager. We'll be right back.
The Colonial Heights Police Department is trying to identify a jewelry thief, and the Chesterfield County Colonial Heights Crime Solvers program wants to help. On Saturday, October 14th, a man went into Reed's Jewelers in South Park Mall and talked with the salesperson about the store's diamond selection. While the salesperson was holding a 2-carat diamond ring, the suspect ripped the ring from the salesperson's hand and ran away. That suspect was described as a thin black male wearing a blue sweatsuit and a dark two-tone ball cap with a sticker on the brim. You can see his picture at crimesolvers.net and on Facebook at CrimeSolversCCH. And if you can identify this suspect or have information about any unsolved crime in or person wanted by Chesterfield or Colonial Heights, you can submit a tip through the Crime Solvers hotline at 748-0660, through the web, crimesolvers.net, or through the new P3 app. Whichever method you use, you'll remain anonymous, and if your tip helps, you could receive a cash reward. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and take the time to solve the crime.
You know what I hate? I hate iPhones. This stupid. I've been trying to download the new version of whatever it is, and I cannot.
I tell you,
get it
this
to
is
work.
a conspiracy.
It's a con.
The iPhone knows everything that you're doing. They are artificial intelligence, I think.
Well, now I can't control my daughter's iPhone, and I'm not happy about it.
You're just a control freak.
Tune in to the Lee Brothers, Fridays, 3 to 6 p.m. here on Richmond's Choice for Conservative Talk Radio, WNTW 820 AM and 97.7 FM. The Answer.
Policy matters. Policy affects your daily life. Whatever decisions are made at the state level do affect you. And so it's important to be informed. It's important to be engaged and know what's going on.
Tune in to Cut to the Chase with Senator Amanda Chase, Thursdays, 4 to 5 p.m. here on Richmond's Choice for Conservative Talk Radio, WNTW 820 AM and 97.7 FM. The Answer.
One could say that President Trump isn't quick to compliment. So when he tells J. Fred,
I'm impressed. I'm very impressed.
You know we got something cooking. It's the hottest thing on your breakfast plate.
You couldn't negotiate your way out of a brown paper bag on Halloween with a bucket of candy.
The John Frederick Show, fresh brewed every day.
All of a sudden they're starting to say, oh, wow.
Weekday morning 6 to 10 on WNTW AM 820 and the new 97.7 FM. Listen anywhere online at johnfredericksradio.com.
Man, do I love card night. You ready, boys? You got a king?
Go, fish dad.
Oh, come on. This is WWE superstar Titus O'Neil. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Cut to the Chase with State Senator Amanda Chase and former Lieutenant Governor John Hager. We also have in the house today Chris Garcia of the Teen Republicans Club at Manchester High School. We're delighted he joined us today here in the studio. And we're talking about the Lieutenant Governor's race right here. We have a Lieutenant Governor here who can give us some special insight. And as you mentioned, those tie-breaking votes, and I remember seeing a number of tie-breaking votes to come up in the Senate. And your role.
Absolutely. And the interesting thing is you never quite know when one's going to happen. Sometimes the issue might divide people not just along party lines, but along geographic lines or along socio-economic lines. And so it's easy to get a 2020 vote, even though the Democrat-Republican alignment might not be exactly 2020. In fact, right now it's 21-19, I believe. And but you had to keep up with all the issues because you never knew when one of those votes would just pop up suddenly in front of you.
You're exactly right, and especially in the Senate. I mean, the House has a little bit more of a lot more margin than we do. And if I remember correctly, it was the Democratic Party that actually drew the lines in the state Senate. And anyway, we're very, even though we have the majority, it's a very, very narrow majority. Now, do you remember any?
You just brought up a great point, Amanda, because this is the legislature that's being elected. The House members will be the ones that are involved in redistricting in 2 years, and so we shouldn't forget that because redistricting has a huge impact on our districts and our ability to govern.
That's exactly right, because as you mentioned, and a lot of people, they hear redistricting and they say, what is that? And that is the drawing of the lines. We've got the congressional districts. There's a line there, which usually encompasses about 13 counties. Then we have senatorial districts, which can include a lot. I know mine includes 3 because of they're pretty dense. And then you have
2.5 times as many population, as many constituents as the House district.
That's right. I think we're 2.5 times as big as a House district. So it's interesting because a lot of people say, well, who am I voting for? Who am I voting for? So this time we're voting for governor, and you have Governor, I almost called him Governor Gillespie. I'm being euphemistic there. The Republican nominee is Ed Gillespie, and the Democratic nominee is Ralph Northam. And you know, you have to turn your TV on and you'll know who's running for governor, right? All the ads are flying, and I think a lot of people, they hear all the rhetoric and they're like, what is really true? Because you hear a lot of things on TV, but this is why I have this show, because I want to tell you. I mean, I know Ralph Northam because I served with him. He presided over the Senate when he was lieutenant governor, because he just came off of being lieutenant governor. And I work with Jill Vogel because she actually worked in the Senate, and she was one of my colleagues, so I work with them on a number of issues. And, super nice people, but I tell you, it is so important that you get the issues right, because Virginia will be a totally different world under a governor if we had Ralph Northam, who supports higher taxes on gas, real estate, health insurance, medical devices, and more. And one thing that we look at when we look at taxes under Governor Gillespie, he's looking for a 10% cut to the individual income tax rates, and that's pretty big, for families like mine that are so large.
That's right. Not only is that big for families, and particularly the middle class, but it would stimulate the economy and our job creation and make Virginia an even more attractive place for people to come and bring new jobs. And so it has a big effect there.
Absolutely. So when we're talking about right-to-work laws, Ed Gillespie supports and will protect our right-to-work laws here in Virginia, whereas Ralph Northam would like to overturn our right-to-work laws. So
you're right on target, Amanda. And when you think about the General Assembly session, the Republican House and Senate passed a huge number of bills that Terry McAuliffe just vetoed.
Absolutely.
All of our positive common sense ideas go out the window in the end, because if you have a Democratic governor, he vetoes the bills, the good bills.
And I had a number of those that happened too. I had a bill that would actually line up our absentee voting photo ID laws with our current laws when you vote in person, to require more, the picture ID, which is the law of the land in Virginia. Whenever you vote in person, we have that loophole that's glaring at us. And it passed the House, it passed the Senate, but it was vetoed by our Democratic governor. So,
so
very important.
Perfect example.
Yes, I feel it personally after all that work. And then let's talk about in-state tuition for illegal immigrants. Ed Gillespie opposes that, whereas Ralph Northam supports that. Another thing that came up before the Transportation Committee that I sit on has to do with driver's license for illegal immigrants. Ed Gillespie opposes that, whereas Ralph Northam supports that. And it's really interesting to me when we talk about protecting the integrity when we vote. They were proposing to have a driver's license for those who are not here legally that would look exactly the same as a Virginia driver's license. There was only one letter change, which was in, 8-point type, which you had to have a magnifying glass on to see. It would be easy for someone to use that and represent themselves as someone that was here legally. So that concerned me greatly.
Well, the issue is just so clear to me. That's why we have laws, so that we can have a legal immigration system and welcome people into this country. But when people come in and break the law illegally, they shouldn't be rewarded with a driver's license or anything else.
And even, my next door neighbor is a legal immigrant, and she was fired up because she was saying, I came here legally. I filed all the paperwork. I did everything I was supposed to do. And now they're wanting to bypass that process that I spent all this time following the law and doing. They're just going to give them a pass. She was really, really upset about that. More so, I was upset about it, but, having had gone through that labor of coming here legally is important. What do you think is probably the biggest challenge about being a lieutenant governor?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is to create the opportunity to make a difference. In other words, as I say, I view the expansive role of lieutenant governor. Everybody thinks of it as a political job because you might be aiming to run for governor. I never looked at it that way. I felt like if you had a good track record and you went out and made a difference around the Commonwealth dealing with issues and helping improve people's lives, that then you would be rewarded for it for your accomplishments. So I think the biggest challenge is taking advantage of time and your position in order to go after opportunity to make a difference.
Well, speaking of opportunities to make a difference, I want you all to go out and get his book, Best Seat in the House. Lieutenant Governor John Hager, thank you so much for coming on Cut to the Chase today. We really appreciate your time today.
Pleasure. I like your title, and anytime you need me, just give me a call.
Will do. Thanks so much.
Hey, I'm Kim Warburton, the Executive Director of the Pregnancy Resource Center of Metro Richmond. For over 34 years, the Pregnancy Resource Center of Metro Richmond has been a safe haven and a loving refuge to thousands of young moms and dads of the greater RVA community who need compassionate care and hope in the midst of an unplanned pregnancy. Join us for our 2017 annual gala as we share more about the ways that God is saving lives through this ministry. Stay tuned for this special invitation.
Hi, I'm JJ Jasper, inviting you to join me Thursday night, November the 16th at the Richmond Marriott for the Pregnancy Resource Center of Metro Richmond 2017 Annual Gala. As a morning on-air personality and best-selling author, I know you'll be encouraged and inspired. We'll laugh together. Plus, it's for a great cause, celebrating the important work of PRC in the Richmond area. Find out more at friendsofprcrichmond.org or call 804-673-4150.
Are you tired of politics intruding into every part of life? I know I am. I'm John Adams. I'm not a politician, and I've never run for office before. I want to be your Attorney General to get the politics out of the office. I'll defend the laws of Virginia. It's your state. You deserve to have an Attorney General represent you, and that's exactly what I'll do. When I'm Attorney General, everyone will be treated the same. No special treatment, period. I've fought drug traffickers in the Navy, and as a federal prosecutor, I put gang members and drug dealers in jail. I have a plan and the experience to get ahead of the opioid crisis. And when it comes to violent gangs like MS-13, I've put dangerous gang members in jail before, and I'll do it again to keep our families safe. Election day is coming up. Make a plan to vote. And if you're ready for an Attorney General that will be a servant instead of a politician, I'm your guy. I'm John Adams, candidate for Attorney General, and I sponsored this ad.
Old Dominion University football is back for 2017.
Duhart to the 15 and 10 to the 5. Jonathan Duhart diving at the 1.
Head coach Bobby Wilder returns to lead a Monarch squad coming off a 10-win season and a Bahamas Bowl championship.
Intercepted in the end zone. That's Brandon Addison.
Hi, this is Ted Alexander. Join Andy Mishaw, Doug Ripley, and me for all the action all season long here on Richmond's home for ODU Athletics. WNTW, 820 AM and 97.7 FM, The Answer.
In America, you can be what you can be to a greater degree than any place in all of human history. And as far as black people are concerned, black people have come further ahead from further behind than any other group in human history. Stunning. Only in America.
Tune in to Larry Elder weekdays 6 to 9 p.m. here on Richmond's Choice for Conservative Talk Radio, WNTW 820 AM and 97.7 FM. The Answer.
Thanks for tuning in. This is the final segment of Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase, and we have a caller on the phone. I think his name is Denver. Okay, great. Denver, can you hear me? All right, Denver's going to come on.
Jill, just one question. When I go to vote Tuesday, apparently all I need is a driver's license. I don't even need my voting card.
That is actually correct, yes.
Isn't that ridiculous? What do you need a voting card for if it's not to vote?
Well, it usually tells you your precinct information on there where you go to vote, especially if you're voting for the first time. But the law of the land is you know, you can have that. It verifies it. Just sometimes they switch the lines, and we'll see that a lot after they redraw the lines after the census. So you'll want it just basically lets you know where you vote generally.
Yeah. Well, what I'm worried about is if some of these illegals have driver's licenses, how do they just walk in and vote when they don't even have a voting card? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, we do have the rolls, and so if their name is not on the rolls, that is published whenever you sign up at the DMV, whenever you sign up online or go in person to the registrar's office, there is a list, and that is printed off. And if your name is not on that list, they will not let you vote. One of the issues that we've had is making sure that list gets purged. And that's one of the things that I've been working on privileges and elections, is making sure that that's done in a timely fashion. But I do not support illegals having driver's license. They're not supposed to have driver's license.
I know.
And
it's really getting to be a problem. I mean, in the last election, we already know that we had illegals voting.
Yes, and that is something that we are looking to. Usually Republicans advance legislation to try to, like the photo ID law, which for absentee voting, which I had passed as my bill, and it passed the House and the Senate and was vetoed by the governor to try to ensure the integrity of our vote so that every vote matters. But what happens is typically the Democratic Party comes and says, well, you're trying to repress the vote. No, I'm not. If I have to buy Sudafed from Walmart, it's more stringent. I have to present my driver's license just to get Sudafed.
Exactly.
Than just, casting a vote. I feel your frustration. Trust me, I completely understand. In fact, right before the last presidential election, we had a bipartisan House and Senate privileges and elections meeting to address some of the issues that we were seeing with the integrity of our vote that were brought up by our registrar. So
right.
I'm with you. I'm agree with
Jill,
you.
just keep up the good work, and maybe we can get the Republicans in and we can straighten this place out.
That would be nice. I've got my fingers crossed.
Okay, Jill. Well, thanks for taking my call.
I'm actually State Senator Amanda Chase, but I'll take Jill today.
Oh, that's right. You're not Jill Vogel.
I'm supporting Jill Vogel, yes.
I know you are. I'm sorry.
Thanks so much for tuning in to Cut to the Chase with Senator Chase today. Stay tuned. Next Thursday, we'll be right back.